All right. What's going on, Cowboy Nation? Let's continue to get this thing going in the right direction. Yeah. All right. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. I really appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Let's continue to grow this thing. Let's continue to talk about the narrative that everybody, mama, uncle, cousin like to bring up. The situation all together. As the room fill up, I really appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Cowboys Experience. I got to bring this up, Cowboy Nation, because I know for good and well that you guys don't like the Cowboys, right? I know that you guys love them, just like me. I love the Cowboys, and we'll talk to these people from hell to high waters about these Dallas Cowboys. And I want to say, if you guys want to get a chance to go out to the games, if you guys really want to get a chance to see live players in action, I'm talking about not just from far, far away, I'm talking about being able to shake their hands, then click on that website, man, that's in my description box if you're on my YouTube page. And if you are on my Facebook handle, just go to www.cowboysexperience.com and you can check out all of the good information there. So with all that being said, Cowboy Nation, we have an issue. Ezekiel, the path of the righteous man, is beset on all sides by the iniquities, right? He's saying to himself, hey, I'm not playing unless I get the amount of money that I want. Here's where I have the little issue with that, is that this team is finally at the way we want it to be. On all sides of the ball. You know, you can't find me a weak spot on this defense. You can't find me a weak spot on the offense outside of the kicker, if he can make those short kicks, you know. But it's just one of those things where I'm looking at it like, come on, man. It's finally when we get everything in order, when we get all our affairs in order, we have this little issue. I'm not talking about injury. I'm not talking about, at this point, I'm not talking about a domestic violence case. I'm not talking about Roger Goodell seems to be at his most lax position of all times with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not talking about that. We're not even talking about Rico. Michael, appreciate you, man. I smell dirty business. It can be dirty, but the only thing where I can say, Michael, and I really appreciate you, man, is that it's not dirty when I got money out there on the table, you know, and I'm paying you 2 weeks before your term is up. We can talk about usage rate. We can talk about other things that's on the table, but in my world of minds is that you made more money than anybody else on his offense so far outside of the offensive line. Is he making more? Did he make more money than Dak Prescott? Yes. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, he deserved more money. Yeah, you can say that. Or, you know, if you can look at it from these angles too. Shout out to you, Wiggle Bell, and shout out to you, Emily. Thank you. And Stephen Arthur that's on my Facebook panel. My thing is, and shout out to you, Alex, as well, Pritchard. This is the thing, Cowboy Nation. Not like the dude is getting paid crumbs. He's getting paid some money. And it's more than what Dak Prescott is getting. And from my understanding, it could be more than what Amari Cooper is getting at this point. It surely is more than what Michael Gallup is getting paid. NFL Kyle Drummond, the NFL is always a dirty business, always been dirty. Well, say that to the school teachers out there. Say that to the doctors and the lawyers who don't get paid a fraction of what these NFLs getting paid. Say that to the firemen out there. Say that to the police officers that's in the blue. Say that to those people who's running towards the fire. They don't get paid even close to what these NFL players are making. Say that to a banker. Say that to a quote unquote crossing guard, you know. So I know that people do pay big tons and chunks of money to play, to watch this particular sport. But at the end of the day, it's labeled an entertainment business, right? So I don't think that it's dirty when I pay you $30 million. I don't think that it's dirty when I pay you $15 million. I don't think that it's dirty, heck, when you get $1 million paycheck from week to week. Now, somebody could say, well, the grind is hard, Law. 16 weeks. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the grind is hard. 16 to 17. Look, that's why I was really mad at the fact with David Irvin's situation. I said, look, man, you can do whatever you want to do once the NFL is over, but you have enough time to make generational financial changes for the rest of your life. Your kids don't have to work a day job from 9 to 5. So I know a lot of people look at it from the aspects of it being dirty, but I don't see it that way. I look at it as an opportunity to change not just your life, but your kids' lives. You know, that's how I look at it. Now, I could be 1,000,000% wrong. I could be. Let's listen into, I guess, his first Undisputed.
It's like spread out all over the floor, and then you start. Skip, I love when a player come together. Hey, nothing like a player. You know, Jenny?
Huh?
You're putting a puzzle together. Maybe you got a 1,000-piece puzzle, and it seems impossible when it's just like spread out all over the floor. And then you start like, okay, here's a corner piece, and there's a top corner piece, and then all of a sudden it starts to come together. I don't know, Skip, you ever I put a puzzle, I think I was about 13 or 14. I put a puzzle together of the United States. Jenny, it took me like 3-4 days to do that thing.
Wow.
But it was when it came to see it come together. California here, and then you see Arizona and Vegas, and then I get Georgia, Florida, and it comes together. And I'm like,
that took 3 or 4
Yeah,
days.
yeah!
Too long?
Yes!
You're better than that.
Yes!
You should have done that in
Hey, this dude said it took him 3 to 4 days to put together the United States of America's puzzle. That's crazy. Now, you should be able to do that a whole lot faster than that, Skip.
30 minutes.
Shannon, you supposed to do that a whole lot faster. I'm saying Skip, but Shannon, you got to do that a whole lot faster.
You
Yeah,
know how
you
the
should know
states
yourself.
are. You can just look at a map.
They're all over the place. But anyway, to make my point, Skip, baby, stop interrupting what you try to do. My plan is starting to take shape, just like I laid it out. I told you what was gonna happen. Oh, Jerry, it makes too much sense for them, and it makes too much sense for the Cowboys. No, you're trying to get them at a discount price, Jerry Jones. No.
I'm thinking that this is where we coming from, like far as the discount pricing. I don't really think that it's a discount pricing. And look, I'm not the guy out there running around getting hit, right? He said, Law, it's easy for you to sit there and say that in your executive seat. No, what I'm saying is that we have this big old thing called salary cap. Now, football always been a measurement contest, but I'm going to try to keep it PG-13 if you know what I mean. It's always been a measurement contest. You want to rip yours out and you want to say that mine is bigger than yours. And that's what we're going through right now. But I like the likings of Amari Cooper because he's not saying, okay, I want to get paid more than Michael Thomas. I want to get paid. I deserve. And I'm not saying that he should not have that type of mentality, because I guess if you're sitting out there and you're saying to yourself, this is a brutal sport and I don't know when the next time I can afford to put food on my table and things like that, and this job is the only resource that I can utilize to get that. It's more power to you. Just like Latrell Sprewell said, hey, I got to feed my family, and I can't feed my family with $63 million. You know, that's not enough money to feed my family. I don't know what he's eating, right? That could be the actual facts that he can't feed his family with $63 million. And that was Latrell Sprewell back in the days, right? So fast forwarding, if you look at Ezekiel Elliott, they put an offer out there. It's more than Dak Prescott, I can guarantee you. He's making more money than Dak Prescott. That's a story of a different day. But he's saying that, hey, I want every penny more than Todd Gurley. And the thing is, it's just crazy because this is like truth. Cowboy Nation, you should never, and I'm just speaking to you guys individually. Just because your neighbor go buy a car doesn't mean that you have to go and say to yourself, oh, it's 2020 around the corner, let me go buy a car. You don't know their resources. You can look, you can see that, okay, hey, she's a school teacher, the husband is a lawyer. How can they afford this Land Rover or whatever it may be? You can't count their money. You just don't know. They may have had a third uncle, cousin twice removed, then left them a little nest egg. And they can say, okay, here you go. Or they could have been a deal or endorsement deal from their company and say, okay, here's your Land Rover or Range Rover, whatever it is, you see. So my thing is, collectively, this is what the new modern day age of football is all about. It's all about, hey, mine is longer than yours or mine is bigger than yours, and I'm going to tell you why. And here's why. Here's what I got on the table. And if Todd Gurley was able to get this amount of money, then I should too. Just like the fact that when we look at Khalil Mack, just because Chicago Bears, I'm going to say again, I might say it to my grave, just because they overpaid $141 million for that outside edge rusher, outside linebacker, however you want to call it, then all the other players said, hey, I want a piece of that too. I want some. I want some of that money since this owner is giving that type of cheese out. I want to get some too. And the reality is that when we start looking at the teams that's winning the Super Bowl, they don't have that type of mindset. They have a mindset that is actual team. Together, everyone achieves more. But everybody want to be able to say, hey, this is what I've done. I want to stand on top of this rock and beat my chest down and say, hey, I am the highest paid blase because I put in the sweat equity and I should get these amount of returns. I don't care about the ring because all I care about is the fame. One thing we all adore, something worth dying for. There's nothing but pain. We stuck in this game. We searching for fortune and fame. This is what everybody's doing, searching for fortune and fame. They want that spotlight. They want that shine. They don't want to win. They just want that paycheck, baby. And if they don't get it, then they can say, hey, I'm sitting out. I don't want to play the rest of this contract. That's not my obligation no more. Because my obligation is making sure that I can ensure myself that I have the max amount of money so I can walk around because it's only going to be for a year, for 2 years. Because somebody else is going to get more money based off or predicated upon what you just got paid. Let me know if I'm wrong.
Oh, see, he want to go retail shopping, Jenny, and pay wholesale prices. Where they do that at? That don't work, Skip Bayless. I keep telling you that. Stephen Jones is trying to poison the water by talking about, they got to give us a discount. No, we ain't give you nothing.
Okay.
He want top dollar. He want
top dollar.
Todd Gurley money. And for Jared, I'm talking about the prove it deal. Prove it? Zeke say, what you want me to do? You want me to lead the league in 3 of the first 4 years? Because I would have let it 3 straight had it not railroaded me and McCall forced me to miss 6 games. That's what I would have done. Amari Cooper said, hold on. Skip, let me get my card. Get my card. Get right here.
Get it right.
Skip, did you know Dak, before Amari Cooper got there, Dak had 1 game in which he threw for 200 yards or more. Once Amari arrived, 7 times he threw for 200 yards or more.
It helps to have one decent.
All right, so we're going back and forth with this. And I said, I see some people saying that, okay, Lord Bronson's in the chat box. Man, I really appreciate you, Lord Bronson. But let me ask you this, Lord Bronson, if you are able to respond. Here's the thing. Hear me out. When Carson wins his first year in 2016, I believe the Eagles went 7-9. The next year or the following year, what they said, okay, we got a quarterback that can probably win us games, but therefore I must do something in order to elevate that quarterback. So they went and got out what's that guy name that dropped the pass? I forgot his name. Alshon Jefferson or something like that. They went and got a LeGarrette Blount, who was a Super Bowl champion. They went and got also another running back. I think that he was finally healthy that year. The little small guy, Darian Sproles, I believe. He was already on the team, but he was more healthy in 2017 than any other year that he played for the Eagles, I believe. Then they had another. So they had the running back by committee. They had the nice set of tight ends because the tight end is always the quarterback best friend. What am I explaining to you guys is that they also went and got a guy that can take the top off the defense. So they revamped their offense in certain sectors. And then they helped out the defense too, because they went and got the boys that was being able to play a little bit more physical on the secondary. And they went and got a Chris Long, who I think he just won a Super Bowl as well with the New England Patriots. So what they did was they crafted a team that can help elevate not just Carson, it's a system as we look at it, because it also helped out Nick Foles. And if we can go back into time, I can talk about Joe Montana with Jerry Rice. Name me a Super Bowl that Joe Montana won without Jerry Rice. All right, and then we talk about Roger Craig, who was able to help him out. He was the first I guess at that time, Marshall Faulk, the guy that he can throw the little dink off pass or dunk off pass, and he can take and squirt the ball upfield. So football always been about team sports, baby. So when you start talking about Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, you start to look at and then you start realizing, and people just start to understand football, is that we now had a wide receiver with the likings of a wide receiver that can make a threat outside of the Dante, whatever we had out there that couldn't catch water. He couldn't hit the water, too, if he fell off a boat. And also, with that being said, we had a rookie, Michael Gallup, who was trying to learn football, wasn't he, last year? So we started off 3-5. But that goes to show you that even with the greatness of an Ezekiel Elliott, we were still 3-5. So if I'm Jerry Jones, my priority would be, okay, let me go ahead and pay this Amari Cooper guy because we were 3-5 before he entered into this room. And look, I may not know a lot of things, but I do know that. So that would be my priority. And so they probably was sitting back looking at it, okay, let's see, because we don't want to set the market and we don't want to lowball our guy too low. So we're going to see what this Michael Thomas is going to get right quick. And I'm guaranteeing you that the Atlanta Falcons is thinking about the same thing. They puzzling their mind about the same thing. And then if we can go over to this Dak Prescott. Okay, we can talk a little bit about this Dak Prescott, can we? We can mention about this Dak Prescott, the fact that when you start to not have a wide receiver, when you start having a running back too, that's not able to spring open and help out everything too. So we're looking at all those things, Cowboy Nation. So let's not just pin the tail on this particular guy named Dak Prescott and saying that, okay, he's nothing. Because if I can go back into the crevices of your thoughts and remind you all about 2015, didn't we have that elite offensive line? Oh, we did, Law. Okay. Have anybody out-debated me on the fact that why we didn't win those multiple games in 2015? I'm waiting for somebody to call in or call me and tell me why we didn't win in 2015. Wasn't we like 3rd or 4th overall in rushing that year? I will wait. See, I have yet to have anybody who speaks some rationale to me or speaks some type of level of intellect to say to me, okay, in 2015, we had good defense. Can't nobody tell me we didn't have good defense. Let's look it up. Oh, we had the Kelly Moores of the world. We had a Brandon Whedon, who Jerry Jones himself said throws the best balls that he ever seen in his life. Oh. We only won a handful of games. Okay. All right. Undefeated in that 2015 debate, by the way.
Receiver.
So Amari said, what I need to prove? You proved to me you couldn't move the ball through the air without me.
Okay.
You proved that. Zeke Elliott said, you also proved to me that when I was in Cabo the first time, you couldn't win games without me. So what do I need to prove? I keep telling you, Skip Bayless, that's a great problem to have. It is if everybody isn't up on a contract, needing a contract at the same time. Skip, you in trouble. You don't want to admit it. You put on your brave face. You admit it. You know what, Skip? You'd have been a heck of a coach. You know why? Because even when you know you about to get the brakes beat off you, you could have convinced your players that, you know what, guys, we got a chance to beat this team. They're not better than us today. And you sounded.
We would have pulled off the upset of the century.
Yep. You got the brakes beat off you, but you'd have had the guy believe, we got him. And then after they go up like 28-0 in the first 8 minutes of the game, you're like, we ain't got him. Skip, you in trouble.
When have I ever been down 28-0? Ever.
You down right now.
No.
You down right now.
Ever,
Come
never.
on,
You
Skip, let me see your
22nd time out just a minute ago.
Shout out to you, Roger.
really good
Appreciate
right
you boys for life. Thank you for tuning in.
By the way, last
Ron,
night
appreciate
was the Jerry Jones annual media bash, in which
Yes.
he takes the whole group of media out in Oxnard. I think they bus all the way to Nobu in Malibu. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for all the reporters to kind of pull Jerry and or Steven aside for just a second and get a little on off the record, that you could tweet, but you can't really quote. But it's a great night for Jerry and Steven to use that little platform to get their message out through the media.
Sure.
It's another big opportunity to negotiate publicly with a holdout Zeke and a Dak and Amari who are at camp.
Correct.
Right.
So they're going to hear and read all this. But let's just do the hypothetical that got proposed last night, that got tweeted today by Jane Slater. The hypothetical
Shout out to Jane
is,
Slater.
is it possible all three stars, borderline emerging superstars, would be forced to go into this real season with no contract to play it out on prove-it deals that they're currently on? Is that possible?
No, I don't
Well,
think so.
right now,
It
the
ain't possible.
CBA, unfortunately, and I'm completely with you on this,
yeah.
it gives Jerry and Steven all the leverage. And it's wrong, and it needs to be righted. And in fact, I read yesterday they had an early negotiating session. Did you see that?
Yes.
On the next CBA. You got to get this one right. And all that you could do to help mentor young players, to advise them, to counsel them, to direct them how to get this right, you should do all you can do, because they will listen to you on this. Okay, but right now, they're stuck under the old deal.
Yep.
And right now, let's take Dak. He has 1 year to go on his deal.
No, he's in the last year.
Well, I'm saying he's got this year.
this
That's
year,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
okay,
He's
yeah,
got
yeah,
one
this year.
this season to go
Yes.
at only $2 million. But he does have, my last count, maybe a dozen national TV commercials. So he's making a little bit of money off the field. I don't know how much, but at least you got something going for you. And there is this thing called a franchise tag. So let's do the worst case scenario for Dak, is that he would play it out and think, ooh, I'm getting toward free agency, and boom, you get slapped with the franchise tag. Now you're going to make a whole lot of money off that tag, as we saw Kirk Cousins make 2 years in a row in Washington, right? You can make a lot of money off that tag,
True,
whatever
true,
that
true.
average of the top five.
He made almost $45 million
Okay.
in 2 years.
Okay, all right.
So it's way above that now. It's way above that.
Not all that bad, but Jerry does have that in his hip pocket, right? He's got
does.
that over you.
He does.
Let's go to Amari. He's scheduled to make 13.9 this year, so he's the one of the three who says, I don't have great amount of urgency. Yeah, do I want a new deal? You better believe I do. But he's very happy in Dallas. He's found football heaven with Dak in Dallas, right? Jerry knows that. So if you have him play through the year toward free agency, then could you keep him from leaving via free agency as the cap expands? Then you give him his big deal. It's an AB type deal or whatever, even a Michael Thomas if it goes that high. Okay, that's another one. And then you got Zeke. He's under contract for 2 more football seasons, right?
2 more years.
And
I
then,
want 2.
if you had used the tag on, I'm doing the worst case for these players, if you had used the tag on Dak 2 years from now, well, then you could use it on Zeke the next 2 years after that, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So you could really pull this off, and you could unite, I'm just doing the hypothetical, you could unite and ignite the whole football team, the whole locker room against you. So
No doubt, man. Shout out to you, Joe, man, all the way from Italy, tuning in to this show. My thing is right here, Cowboy Nation, it's a conundrum, basically. All right, let me just go back, and I hope you guys just follow me if you can. If the Dallas Cowboys never, and I'm going to use the big word never, put D-Law on that franchise tag his following year, right? What he got, 14, 15, 16, 17 million, something like that. It was in that bracket, 14 to 17 million. Let's say, for example, they signed D-Law. And D-Law still got your 10.5 sacks, or he got 11 sacks or 12, whatever it may have been, last year, whatever he got. Don't you think that D-Law could have still said to himself, you know what, I'm not satisfied with 14 million? You see, so that's the problem with these NFL owners that we have it right now. Even if you sign a player early, you are still probably faced with the same type of set of circumstances, meaning that the player can still say, hey, wait a minute, I outperformed my contract. I still want Khalil Mack's money. Even if they didn't even try to put him on that franchise tag, he could have still said to himself, you know what, I'm not satisfied. I want more. That's why we call it money. You call it money, my need. I want more. They need to call it Morty because that's what people want. They want more and more and more. You ask any millionaire what he's trying to do, I'm trying to become a billionaire. You ask a billionaire anything what he want to do, I want to become a trillionaire. Trillionaire probably trying to become a zillionaire, whatever it may be. Avarice, greed shall conquer us all. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, Cowboy Nation, even if we were to pay D-Law before his franchise tag, before we franchise him, don't you still think that he would say to himself, hey, predicated upon these last 2 years, my production levels or in the park or in the same field of a Khalil Mack, and I'm being underpaid. So therefore, until you guys renegotiate this contract, I will not run out there on that field. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't players do this? And then on the side of it, what makes it a conundrum is when a player have a poor or poo-poo performance and they're not playing to the level of their activity, then the owners bring them into the office with the clipboard and say, hey, bring me your playbook because today is your last day. We are releasing you from the team. And all of this could be avoided and all this stuff can be gone if they just get rid of the salary cap. In my opinion, like I said before, the salary cap does nothing for this league, but outside make these mediocre teams that are not able to put their finances in the right directions, and they point at other teams and say, okay, the only reason why they win is because they're making better financial decisions. Want to be strange, Cowboy Nation? For those that's living in a certain neighborhood, that you work hard for yours, then all of a sudden they say, hey, no Cadillacs allowed on this block. All we can afford is Hondas. Now, I'm not talking about Hondas. Let me just use another word, a Hyundai then. We don't allow Priuses on this road, Although you can afford a Jaguar, but according to the cap limit on this particular street, you're supposed to buy a Prius. I don't care what you're doing with your other money and your other resources. I don't care how you allocate your funds. Wouldn't it be crazy, and I use this analogy all the time, if Chick-fil-A, they giving you great customer service, Whataburger giving you great customer service, but they have to put a cap on all of their guys. So, and you go over there to Wendy's, and they taking benefits from Chick-fil-A and Whataburger because their customer services are outstanding. See, that's the problem with the NFL. So it is what it is, Cowboy Nation. Let's listen to some more. We got a minute left, and then I'll open it up for Q&A, and we'll probably try to have a call-in number so I can have you guys' thoughts and what's on your mental and things like that.
It would be locker room versus Jerry and Steven.
Right.
Like, how dare you? Watch what we're going to do. We're going to play it out with motivation, just the way I talked about. Michael Jordan played out that 1998 year to put Jerry Krause, their GM, back in his place. How dare you think that you could replace our coach, Phil Jackson, right?
Yeah, Skip, but if I was Jerry, I would pay him now. Can you imagine?
Okay, well, he has proposed this hypothetical.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you get your dreams.
Shout out to you, Stan.
The Cowboys get
Toyotas
to
are
win
nice.
the Super Bowl. Do you know how much you'll have to pay Dak Prescott?
Okay.
Do you know how much you'll have to pay Amari Cooper?
Do you know how much more the cap will go up next year?
Yeah, it ain't gonna. He will literally. Dak will be. I put it like this here. If he makes Dak play this thing out, and the Cowboys get to and win the Super Bowl, and Dak Prescott wins the Super Bowl, Dak Prescott will be the first $200 million quarterback. He will get $150 million guaranteed.
You know what?
Yes, indeed. All right, so we seen that story play out before. We seen Joe Flacco. He bet on himself, and they had to pay him some outlandish contract during his time. Remember that, Cowboy Nation? Remind me, or let me know if I'm wrong. But I think that he had to pay out a crazy. I think the Falcons, not the Falcons, but the Ravens at the time had to pay out a crazy number in order to satisfy the bet that he betted on himself. And let me know if I'm wrong with that, Cowboy Nation. Let me know, because I believe that what happened. Shout out to Ohio State running backs. Yes, Swaggy D, what's good, man? All Cowboys should accept their top 5 offers. They gave them an offer, yeah. So they put money on the table. It's not like the Cowboys said, look, we ain't paying you nothing. It's not like they're saying that, okay, the Cowboys said that they're going to put a franchise tag on these guys. No, they gave all 3 of them max contracts, I guess, from whatever they could possibly generate that won't hurt their bottom line. So that is something that I'm looking at, Cowboy Nation. That's how I'm looking at this whole entire deal. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. Let me see, 682. I'm going to put it in the chat box, 214-4087. That's the call-in number. Call that number if you want to call into the show. Let me know what's on your mental, what's on your mind. I don't have my switchboard, so it's going to be generated through my phone out to you all. Now, of course, that's not Law Nation's personal number, But that is a number that you guys can reach me at, 682-214-4087. And let me know what's on your mental, what's on your mind, what's on your heart, soul, and sinew, and all those things. That's 682-214-4087. All right, so I'm going to try to answer most of you guys' questionings here. Cowboys Nation, we deep. Yes, we all deep all day, every day. Stephen Franco, what's up, man? Is he not seeing our comments here? Yes, I'm seeing your comments here, but I only have one stream, so I don't have multiple resources to reach out to you just like that. But I do see your comment there. Shout out to you, Roger. All right, John Deere, what's good, man? Kyle, what's going on? The monthly Eagles with one ring. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The Eagles win one ring, and they want to say, okay, we the best thing since sliced bread. All right, so we have a caller here. Talk to me. Talk to me. What's up? Talk to me. Yes. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing fine like wine, man. So talk to the nation again, man. Put your name out there because I didn't catch it.
Okay, this is Chappelle Hannon.
Chappelle, what's good, man?
Oh, I'm good, man. How you doing? Cowboy Nation, Bay Area, stand all the way up to the moon on it, to the stars on it. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. Let me know. Hold on for a quick second because this is my first time doing it from my cell phone until I get everything going. And I'm gonna use you as a guinea pig. Cowboy Nation, let me know if you all can hear Chappelle. I ain't talking about David Chappelle.
Oh no, I wish.
Yeah, now I think he betted on himself as well. That Netflix special, I think he got like $60 million. Now he get that amount of money just by telling jokes. All right, so they said they can hear you, man. So so they said they can hear you. So talk to me, man, about how you feel about everything. Whatever topic you want to talk about, life. Dogs, cats, however you want to talk about, I'm here for you.
Okay, with the whole Zeke thing, man, I think Zeke, I think we need to pay him, but with all his off the field issues, it's kind of like Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones' hands are kind of tied though, because Zeke's off the field issues kind of trumping what they want to. I feel like Jerry want to give him the money, but it's kind of like that off the field, like Zeke had a whole lot of off the field issues. I even found out recently about Skip Bayless said something about a little what you call that, a bar brawl, like two of them that I had no idea happened. So I was like, whoa. Then with the TMZ video of him shoving down the security guard, I'm like, man, this not looking good for Zeke. Then he holds out. I'm like, come on, man. Then we trying to pay Dak. Then we got Amari. Then we got what's his name on the free safety or the strong safety we gotta pay.
Right.
It's like, man, it's like our hands are tied. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, Jerry has a lot of thinking. He has a lot of money. I mean, the money needs to be given to the players, but it's like his hands is tied.
Yeah. Let me break this down right quick. There's only so many things that TMZ can report on, right? So
Right.
There are some things that we just don't know. There are some things that's not surface on the surface. They below the surface. That Jerry Jones, who's a billionaire, that knows how to cover up some things. Just like he owned the car that Ezekiel Elliott wrecked. We don't know. We don't know whether or not Ezekiel Elliott was tipsy. We don't know for sure that he had some substance in him. We don't know whether or not he was just healthy and normal, and everything was just a bumper. Just a bang bumper incident.
Hey, well, let me ask you a question, right?
Talk to me.
Wasn't his dad staying with him at one point in time? What happened with that?
There's another thing. Going now. Trust me, this is not me incriminating Ezekiel Elliott. This is not me talking ill will of Ezekiel Elliott, But this is just trying to shed light onto the situation to everyone. What I'm saying is that it's strange when your father have to stop his job to move all the way to Ohio State to go live with you to make sure that you're on the right path. college life, man, is supposed to be the time you're supposed to be able to let your hair grow, man. You're supposed to be able to do some crazy things because it's supposed to be stepping and entering into fatherhood, manhood. I meant to say not fatherhood, but manhood.
Right,
it's supposed to be that type of moment.
Right. Because I've seen a little documentary on his family. Zeke comes from a good family.
He does.
Mom played for Missouri. Dad went to play for Missouri. I'm like, man, how is Zeke still making these mistakes? And he's raised well. I'm thinking, like, you know what I'm saying? Zeke has too many yes men around him. Or he don't have no real friends to pull him to the side like, Zeke, man, you doing too much. Like, man, you like a superstar, you're a public figure, like, relax, man, like, fall back.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta have that committee around you, man.
Yeah.
And that's just the problem.
Like I had two friends that made it to the league. No, I had one friend that made it to the league, Marvell Smith. He went to Arizona State, and he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He played one season with the Niners, but Marvell never gotten in no trouble. I'm quite sure the stuff that he did, but it was, you know what I'm saying? The stuff that he did, though, but he didn't. But I know the way he was raised, it kind of like, you know what I'm saying, pull himself back and be like, okay, Marvell, you're doing too much. His conscience would be like, come on, man. You know, you gotta, be a good figure for your family and for your friends and for, you know what I'm saying, this kid looking up to you, stuff like that. Man, it's just, with Zeke, I started seeing, like, when he played for Ohio State, his last year before he came into the league. Remember when he got into it with Urban Meyer?
Yeah, true. I remember that.
And I was like, okay, Zeke know he about to be a superstar. So why would you go against your coach? See, this is what I was taught when I was playing football. You never go against your coach. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that's just something you just don't do.
No, you don't do that.
It was blown out of proportion. You know how the media is. They put their little spin on it. I'm like, man, they ain't making Zeke look like the bad guy. Then Zeke started, you know what I'm saying, when he came into the league with the whole little female thing, grabbing on her, you know what I'm saying, her bra, pulling the bra down, and all the rest of the stuff. I'm like, man, maybe something, it's a little bit of, there's a lot of stuff that's making sense. Like, Zeke was kind of wild, but that's still my man. He's a Cowboy fan, so I'm going to ride with him. But it's like, I don't know, what you think about that?
Well, what I'm thinking that, we all was young once, right? And I'm not trying to cast aspersions on him. And I'm not saying that, hey, he should sign whatever offer that was given to him. But what I'm saying is that the Cowboys have every right to have their reservations on not making him the most valuable running back of all time or whatever the crazy number it may be. Now, they could already have that number out there for him. I don't know the contract. I don't see it. All I know is that they gave him one. It could be for 2 cents. All I know.
You talking about the numbers? Are you talking about that contract the numbers that they presented to him, and he didn't make no comment on it, or nothing like that, and didn't respond to you? Talking about that right there? Right.
It could be a disrespectful number to him. I don't know. But if my main thing is, go ahead. What'd you say?
I feel like he deserves more money than Gurley, like a little bit more, but not that much, because. I say not that much, though, because the off the field, if Zeke had no off the field issues, I'd be like, man, give him everything. But it's kind of like you want to give it to him, but you don't because you don't know how he's going to act.
You just don't know. And it's just not that. It's just not that. Shout out to you, Tony, man. I understand. He said that's no excuse. But I understand what Tony is saying on the Facebook panel. But you know what? It's one of those things where I can't really say, okay, Ezekiel Elliott should get this amount of money. I can't count the man money. But my only thing is Ezekiel Elliott should. This is what I can say. He should have been out there at training camp. He should have been out there. Regardless of whatever situation happened. It's not like the Cowboys done folded up on him because they've been fighting for him. Everywhere I looked when I was out there in Oxnard, we saw those 21 jerseys. Yeah.
It's just like when Jerry went to bat for him with Goodell. I think it was some behind the scene situations where I think Goodell was going to take the team from Jerry. That's how Jerry fell back. You remember that situation right there? Like I think it was a year or so ago.
Yeah, I remember that. Get one more point out, man, before I end this call right quick, Chappelle.
Okay. Let's talk about. What about that? You think Dak's contract is going to? Whose contract is going to get solved first, Zeke or Dak?
Well, this is the situation with Dak Prescott, and I've already been on record saying this. When the season ended last year, his market value was right at 22.5, 23 million, right?
Okay.
The Cowboys sat on their hands and they waited. I don't know why they waited, but if they would have go ahead and say, okay, we believe in you, Dak Prescott, here's a $24, $25 million contract, I think all would have been forgiven, because that would have been more money than Dak Prescott would ever been seen before in his life. But what happened here is that we pay players according to what the market is. And what happened is that the market was reset by Russell Wilson. Because now you can look at the market and say, okay, it's $35 million based on the stats that was generated since 2016. There's arguably, if you look at Dak Prescott's salary and if you look at his production out there on the field since 2016, they are very comparable to a Russell Wilson. You can't look at Russell Wilson's stats and say, okay, they are far beyond Dak Prescott since 2016. So that's the issue.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Hey, Law, I got one more.
One more, get it out.
Why does Dak get so much hate? And the man, he's proven on the field. I don't understand all the Dak hate. I don't understand it. It's like, I don't understand it at all, Law. Maybe you can put some light on it. I just don't understand, like, why a whole lot of cats hating on Dak. Ever since Dak, you know what I'm saying, came to us, he been proven. Even when he played for Mississippi State. Mississippi State was, like, ranked number 1 for, like, 6 or 7 weeks.
I mean, people love a certain style, man. You know,
Right.
you know, some people, we're a creature of habits, and they are used to seeing that quarterback that would take the risk, that would throw 3 or 4 interceptions, that would launch the ball down the field, and those sorts of things. But I'll talk more about it, man. But appreciate you for calling in, Chappelle, man. You are an official. Yeah.
That Cowboy Nation stand up Super Bowl champs this year. We going to the ship and we gonna show out. Cowboy Nation stand up. Love y'all, man.
Appreciate
Love you, Law, man, for having me on, man.
Thank you, fam. Salute. That's what I'm talking about, Cowboy Nation. Man, that was a good call, man. So Chappelle was saying that, hey, why are you guys hating on Dak, man? Leave Dak alone. The brother got some skills, you know. But it's some more stuff that the reason why people don't like Dak Prescott, but that's a story of a different day, Cowboy Nation. All right, so if anybody want to call in, I will. Let's see if I can post his number again down below, and so that you guys can see the number. I really appreciate you all. Philly Cowboys 76, man. Thank you for tuning in to the nation. Is it J Mac, man? Appreciate you, man. Much love for you, man. And then who else on my Facebook panel, man? Roger. He says, yeah, we love Dak. There's a segment of population that really truly love Rain Dakota Prescott. And there's a segment of population just don't love his style of play. And they want a certain style point. But I go back to 2015. You had a Brandon Whedon. You had a Matt through Council. How do you say that, man? Matt Council. I'm just going to say Matt Council. You had a Kellen Moores of the world, right? You had a Tony Romo. You had that perfect offensive line who couldn't keep Romo healthy. That's the craziest part about it. But people will go around and cry and moan about wins because there's only one quarterback that got more wins than Dak Prescott. And I do know that people are going to collectively say to themselves, wait a minute, Law, why the wins only go to the quarterback? It always been. Terry Bradshaw wasn't that great of a quarterback, but he runs away with the TV shows and everybody can remember him of his Super Bowls. So that's just the reality of it. Dak can win a Super Bowl. This is from Derek Savage. I agree. I flat out agree. Lamont, man, really appreciate you, man. He said he loves Dak. It's something about positive energy. When you push all that things together, look, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It's like power. Knowledge is power and power is energy, right? And there's something about, man, when you guys collectively think back and you start saying to yourself, it's going to happen. Positive energy, positive reinforcement. Then also you start seeing things that just start opening up for you, better for you. Man, everything, your mood start being better for you. All right. Jackie Smith, is Wentz a top blah, 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 blah? I got the question marks there. My thing is, what makes Wentz a good quarterback? Well, this is what makes Carson Wentz a good quarterback. His anticipation with his throws, his accuracy as well, his ability to read and dissect the defense. We see that from Carson Wentz's game. But the problem is with Carson is that he can't stay healthy. Name me a season that he stayed healthy the entire year. Now, from an Eagles fans' perspective, they would say that, hey, he's the next best thing since sliced bread. That's from the Eagles' thoughts. But they would take out the broom and they'll sweep up all the trash and put it under the rug. But we as Cowboys fans and people from other divisions, we'll say, yes, that is a good quarterback. But the intangibles, I don't think that he got it. I don't think that he can stay healthy. I don't think that if you take away his first read, I don't think that he knows where to go. So those things you see time and time again when you look at the film. Now, when you start to break down what Carson Wentz is good at opposed to Dak Prescott, it's not that much far apart from each other. And you're looking at the value of it. I'm talking about the value of it. Of course, I know people are going to say, "How long you just tripping? What you drinking in that Cowboys cup?" It's sure not Kool-Aid nor coffee. But what I'm saying is that if you look at what the Eagles spent for that first round pick out of Carson and what we spent for not just the fourth round draft pick, but the second pick out of our fourth round draft pick, the margins favor Dak Prescott. Got more wins, more collective touchdowns, more clutch moment wins. Oh, he got the win where it counts. He got a playoff victory. Somebody find me a playoff victory that Carson Wentz won. We don't know if he can do it. You see, there's a different set of butterflies that appears in your stomach when you get into that playoff, right? Call went to voicemail. All right, let me see what's going on with that. Let me see what's going on. It shouldn't go to voicemail. Let's see if I can fix that out for you all here. Didn't pay my bills, Law. Didn't pay the bills. Let's see what we got here. And let's see. All right. I'm working out this system, baby. Just bear with me. And if it do go to the voicemail, leave a voicemail. Then I'll be able to respond to you in those factors as well. All right, so let's see what's going on with this app. All right, call back again and see whether or not it goes to the voicemail, and I'll drop it down because I really want to know your thoughts. That's 682-214-4087. They need to Nick Foles to take him over the hump. Derek Savage, yeah. That's anything can show you that, Nick Foles was a seasonal guy. He was seasoned in a sense. And he had that ability to pick up what the coaches were trying to disseminate and put out there for the masses. And so that's why they was able to win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. But I got another reasoning too, because the Patriots just did made some crazy, terrible decisions as well. And the Minnesota Vikings, they folded up like a lawn chair. So there was other things, other factors. All right, Mark, what's good?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you live like 95, man. What's going on? Talk to me.
Hey, this is Steven.
Oh, you're Steven. Okay, my phone got you going all type of ways.
Good?
What's up, Steven?
Yeah, no. Well, first I gotta say this because I know I sound young, but I'm half deaf. I've had 2 surgeries on my left ear and 1 on my right, so that's why my voice is sounding like the way it is. So, wanted to get that out the way. In my opinion, I just think I know I'm a huge Cowboys fan and whatnot, and I understand about being paid, but why can't Zeke just do what Mari and Dak is doing and just go into camp doing what they're supposed to, and with all the on and off the field issues, just keep doing what he's doing. But I just think the holdouts gonna hurt the team.
Well, I got an analogy on that.
All right, I'll listen on YouTube.
Okay, you gonna hang up? Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. All right, so this is my analogy on that. And I thank him for calling in, for attempting. That shows perseverance and hard work, and I hope that all of the surgeries goes well with him. My thing is with this, one was born with a silver spoon and the other two wasn't. Dak Prescott didn't have a silver spoon. Amari Cooper didn't have a silver spoon. And I know that we started talking about people money. Sometimes when people can identify the struggles, they can say, hey, I'm all about the team. It's not about the individual. Now, I'm not saying that Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper are better as people collectively, because we can pull up a arrest report for Dak Prescott, right? Ezekiel Elliott never been arrested, so I want to be able to put that out on the forefront. But what I'm saying is that, Cowboy Nation, is that, and I'm not saying that, of course, running back careers are shorter than a quarterback or a wide receiver. We don't know that. You can run one cut, tear up and snap up all of your Achilles out there on both sides of the ball. They're going to Dak Prescott or Amari Cooper, and their careers can be dramatically shut down. So what I'm saying is, collectively, is a lot of people say they want. Look, there's a story. It was a story in the Bible where this guy was watching. He watched. This coming from the aspect, from a biblical aspect, for those who not understand what I'm saying. There was this story in the Bible where this rich young ruler saw this guy named Jesus. He was walking down there and he was saying to himself, man, this guy got all of these followers. This guy got all these things going on. I want to be like this guy. I want to figure out how I can be in the in crowd. So he walks up to Jesus and he say to him, hey, I want to join your team. I want to follow you. And Jesus looked him right in his eyes and told him, hey, sell all of your possessions. Get rid of everything you have and follow me. That guy, he sat down and he said, you know what? I got this Maserati over here. I got this Bentley coupe. I got all these women on the side. And he talking about drop all of my possessions to go follow this man and live amongst the poor. I ain't about that work action. I would like this silver spoon that I already got. I'm not finna get rid of my spoon for this. I holler at you, player. I'm gonna sit out. I'm gonna hold out. I'm not about that work life. So that's what that's about. Call, I'm going to pick you up in a few seconds. Matter of fact, I'm going to pick this call up now. Talk to me.
Hey, Law, this is Cowboys 76, Law.
What's up, man? What's going on with you, man? You live like 95 on the nation, baby.
You already know, man. Just want to call in and give my opinion on this Zeke situation. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell myself every day, man, I used to fall in love with players, but now I'm with this organization, and we draft a situation like this. If a player want to hold out, we'll draft a player that will replace you, because you signed the deal, and I only need people to understand that you got to honor that contract. In life, you pay your work for people, you know what you're going to get. You can't all of a sudden say, I want more money. You have to show that, you know what I mean? Even if you show it, you still have to honor that deal. I don't understand how people can sign a contract and get upset with the deal. That's something I'll never understand. But I know that man that was drafted in the 4th round, my man Dak Prescott is there, and he is a well-humble individual, and I wish we had more players like that in this organization.
Yes, indeed, man. Boy, you speaking the hot truth, man. A lot of people don't like the truth, though. They rather have the comfortable lies, because Dak Prescott could have easily said, hey, even though I was drafted in the 4th round, even though you guys say that I don't have this and I don't have that, I can tell you one thing. I outperform my contract. This first year, he could have said, hey, I outperform my contract.
Yes.
But
he hasn't done that, you know.
Yeah.
He hasn't done that. He's still showing up at practice, showing up at camp, doing what he was supposed to do. That's why he will get his money. You can get your money if you show up and show the team and the organization that you got their back like they got yours, and you will. But when you sit out and you're not showing up, it just makes it harder on yourself. I don't think it makes it any easier. It makes it harder on you. That's why I believe that people like Amari Cooper, and that's the reason why D-Law got his contract, because these people that did show up and they came there and they didn't hold out, you know?
Mm-hmm. They did. They said to themselves, like, you know what? At the end of the day, and that's what Byron Jones said on one of the interviews. He was saying, like, look, hey, I'm not completed with my contract yet. You know, I still got a year left.
Yep.
So whatever's faced, whatever obstacles that I got to face, I know that if I do my job, then eventually I get paid one way or another, basically.
Yep. then that's another great young man that's there. He knows his contract is coming up, but he's still there, outperforming it, doing what he was supposed to do. And I just want to give a shout out to our scouting department and that nice coach Chris Richard. That second year, man, is going to be so good. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Chris Richard all the way, baby.
Yes, indeed, all the way, man. I really appreciate you, Philly, man, for calling in and letting the nation know your knowledge, man. Your wealth of knowledge, boy. You're blessing us today, baby.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, Law. I don't want to take too much time up. I want to let someone jump in there, but I appreciate you, man. Everything you doing, Law.
Appreciate it, man. Salute, bro.
Salute.
Yeah, another great call. Another great call, man. I'm bootlegging this thing through my cell phone. Got calls coming straight from the cell phone, baby. But what I was saying with that analogy was, and I'm not saying that Ezekiel Elliott is a silver spoon guy and he never faced struggles and horrible situations in his life. But what I'm saying is that, guys, when you perform, when you do good, when you do good, Jerry Jones figured out a way. Jerry Jones helped out Nate Newton. And I'm not trying to throw any salt or shade at Nate Newton. But let's be real with ourselves. Do you guys think that another network will hire Nate Newton? He'll be on somebody's platform? I'll wait. Look how Jerry Jones looked after Eric Williams after his situation. I'm talking about the 90s players and Michael Irvin. Somebody right now will have a fire article if they just write out an article on all of the players that Jerry Jones looked after or look over and helped out. There was a player that died on another team. Jerry Jones personally flew out to his house and put money in that family's pocket. Whole nother team. So for anybody with the thoughts of thinking to themselves that Jerry Jones don't know how to identify Ezekiel Elliott's situation and will say to himself that he would not go to hell and high waters to make Ezekiel Elliott the highest paid or wouldn't put money in Ezekiel Elliott's pockets and also belly. Come on, Cowboy Nation. You be naive to think that. We better than that. We know that Jerry Jones look after his players. And I'm leaving out thousands of players, or probably hundreds of players that he didn't help out, or a few players or whatever, you know. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Jerry Jones probably sending money to Sam Hurd right now. You know what I mean? Jerry Jones look after his people, man, regardless of whether or not they was a super mega star, all-star, or whether or not they Josh Brand. Cowboy Nation, or Jerry Ball's family, you know, may he rest in peace, you know. So we need to tread lightly on the fact that people think that Jerry Jones is this screwed operator. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's the reason why people reach out to Jerry. And even though he fired them, like Gil Brandt of the world, and they still reach out to Jerry and say, hey, man, I want you to be introducing me into the Hall of Fame. You see. So this stuff goes on and on and on and on, Cowboy Nation. Let's see. I'm going to try to see if I can do a few more before I get out of here. Josh Brandt. Yeah, he did. And I think it was Jerry Ball or something like that was killed in that accident. Roger Criddle said salary cap, yes, the craziest thing that they ever thought about doing. Thank you, Miss Jackie. Shout out to Miss Jackie, man, been regulating this in the chat box, man. She's one of the mods, man. Prescott reaching 5,000 this year. Michael Gallup and Amari are over 1,000. Yeah, okay, yeah. Jay, what's good, man? Appreciate you on the Facebook panel. Jerry and Steven are just bad GMs. That I can't agree. That I can't agree. And it's all about titling out there in Jerryland, too. You know, we already know that Will McClay makes most of these decisions, but by titling, he's not the GM, you know. All right, Cowboy Nation. I'd have been with you guys for a complete hour. I said I was going to do this show for an hour. Trying to get out, you know, mixed show where we listen in to Undisputed, First Take, or what have you. And then after 30 minutes, then you guys hear me talk my little nonsense, right? Only some information. But I want you guys to book your MVP package today. The Cowboys Experience. Check that out. And call that number, 817-888. 1726 for more information on how you guys can have the meet and greet sessions out there. And they doing my boy Drew Pearson wrong. You know, we thought that we was going to be able to get him to get to the Hall of Fame. How in the world? Can you guys just educate me on this? Let me just answer this one phone, and I won't get back to it. I'm gonna answer this one phone. You're live on, it's just like radio. You're live on the nation. Talk to me. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Law? This is Josh Branson calling in. Big Cowboy fan, just like the rest of us, man.
Yes, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in. Talk to me, man. What's on your mind? What's on your mental?
Hey, man, I appreciate you, too. You put out some of the best content, man, honestly. And the shit you brought out at camp was, you know, it kind of relieved some of my mind with all this Ezekiel Elliott shit going on, you know. And
right.
I'm not even really too worried about it for real. It's just going to work itself out.
Yeah.
I do think that, you know, the money that Zeke's asking for, he's probably not going to get. And with Dak and Amari Cooper on their last year, you know, we got to get them done. And they're most important, especially Dak, man. You know, quarterback is very difficult to find. And with Zeke, he would have been a lot farther along to just kind of eat that $3 million and play this year, and then get his contract next year. I think it wouldn't even have been an issue with the fans, and you know, even with the front office. Really, I don't think. But who knows? Really, I hope we get it figured out. But like I said before in a previous comment, our O-line has been producing 1,000-yard rushers. Even Darren McFadden, who everybody forgot and left him for dead, man. Come on.
Right. Man, you speaking too much truth, man. People don't want to hear the truth. They only want to hear the lies now. Yeah.
Right. So I think, you know, if we can get somebody in there that's 4 to 5 yards per carry with Morris and our rookies, maybe we'd be fine. That's going to make Zeke sweat anyway, and we might be able to get him a little bit cheaper. So who knows? This holdout could be the best for the team. And I just want to thank you for everything. I'm not going to keep your time up. I'm nervous as shit. I didn't even think I'd be this nervous talking to you. But for real, man, I appreciate everything you do. And you know, Cowboys Nation. Have
appreciate
a good one,
it.
buddy.
All day, every day, man. Thank you for calling in. You are
Thank
MVP,
you,
man. Appreciate it. All right, so basically, before I go, I'll just say, hey, they going to have to figure out a way to get Drew Pearson in the Hall of Fame. And, yeah, thank you guys for the correction for the nation. It was Brown, right? His last name was Jerry Brown, right? JB. So I really appreciate that. Another thing, I had to get this one more point out, man, because there's so much information. A lot of people think that it was like 1993, right? When Emmitt Smith held out, it was 2 games without Emmitt. And we had a guy named Charles Haley go charge back into the locker room and pretty much almost from other stories and other accounts picked up Jerry Jones and said, hey, you got to pay this man because this rookie, Derek Lassick, can't win us nothing. I'll tell you guys. Tony Pollard and even Alfred Morris, for crying out loud. It's not a Derek Lassick or whoever that guy's name is. Let that sink into your mental, Cowboy Nation. All right, I'm going to find my outro music, man, but let that sink into your mind, you know, because that's all we had was, and of course we had Moose. We had Moose Johnson out there, but we don't have a Derek Lassick now. We have a Tony Pollard, a 4-3 guy, you know. And then we have a different era, different times, different worlds, man, as it relates to this team. So that's what we got to really look at, Cowboy Nation. That's what we got to look at. Shout out to you again, Derek Savage, Philly Cowboys, 76. Not 86, but 76. And shout out to you, Corey, man, that's on the, is you on the YouTube, man? Yes, appreciate it. He said, great phone call. Yes, Cowboy Nation. We finna get on out of here, man. I really appreciate each and every last one of you all. Thank you all for subscribing to this channel. Like I said, if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad of it, that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things,